I'm so excited. I have more school spirit than the school spirits.
Why do I even bother?
My hopes for this episode was high, and I was not disappointed. The Owl House Season 1, Episode 17, Wing It Like Witches, was not just the awesome sports ball calm before the storm episode I was expecting, but was also an episode that really had a lot to it, planting the seeds for the final 2 episodes of the season, alongside other details that can really make one think. So we're going to run through all the ways this episode set up the groundwork for the finale of Season 1, alongside everything else that made it so enjoyable. Of course, spoiler warning. If you are not caught up with the Owl House and you don't want to be spoiled, please go catch up and then come back. With all that said, let's dive in. This episode gives us a deeper look into the true mean girl of Hexside, Boscha, establishing she's the leader of the Grudgby team, and establishing that this episode is the obligatory sports episode. And a parody of fictional wizard school sports like Quidditch, and set sports' endangerment to the safety of students and their insane-ass pulley rules, like a completely unrelated object that really is the true goal of the game. There is a huge heaping of character development that was first teased last week in Enchanting Gromfright. Willow coming out of her cage with a surge of confidence and self-worth after reconciling with Amity and learning Amity never truly viewed her as weak, but rather Amity was pressured into cutting Willow off by her manipulative and elusive parents. Willow showcasing her prowess in plant magic to impress her peers with plant imitations. Boscha tries to put Willow down after feeling as if Willow stole her thunder, but Amity follows through on her promise to never let Boscha pick on her again by dragging the absolute hell out of her, in a way that also calls herself out. Amity acknowledges she used to be obsessed with status and competition, but those things were superficial and irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. And setting the stage for what I'm dubbing the 2-part finale, we begin to unravel Ida's past, though through innocent means, as she reminisces about her time as a star Grudgby player, offering King a trip down memory lane. Although we get breadcrumbs in this episode, next in line is Agony of a Witch, which the promo art teases as a deep dive of Ida throughout the years, though the synopsis has me thinking that may be the B-plot. Checking in on Luz, Gus, and Willow's studies, the groundwork for the season finale continues to be laid out with an audible snippet of the day's history lesson. 50 years ago, Emperor Bellows appointed a head witch to each coven, the council headquarters built and paid for by the pixie dust taxes. Now, we don't know if this includes the Emperor's coven, as that's currently led by Lilith, which would imply she'd be way over 50 years old. However, I'd argue it's possible that instead, something happened to the original leader of the Emperor's Coven, allowing Lilith to step up and being appointed as the replacement. And I also believe this would go hand in hand with Ida's curse, everything being tied to whom I believe is the true antagonist of the Owl House. But let's hold that thought. I feel as if the Owl House has a really honest depiction of high school, and this episode is a great example as to why. Boscha's treatment because of her status as the captain of the Banshees was way too real. As much as it sucks for adults within the school to recognize, students are given unreasonably special treatment when they're a prominent figure within the school's reputation, especially athletes. While I was never wronged by one, I can't count how many times I observed an athlete just flat out demeaning another peer or committing a great offense, only to be pardoned or given a very light consequence in response. If it can make the school look bad or put them at a disadvantage, then it's going to be swept under the rug. Bump's response to the idea of Boscha getting away with murder wasn't too far off from things I've heard from staff and faculty throughout the years either.
What's this? Boscha got away with murder? I can't say I approve, but at least she's trying new things.
Another honest depiction, and highlight for many I'm sure, was Amity's new dynamic with Luz. Barely being able to keep composure, Amity now being completely flustered. The poor girl can barely get a sentence out of her mouth straight, probably because she isn't herself. But seriously, what made this refreshing to see is that Amity's crush on Luz is handled just like any other crush we've seen, where the girl can barely talk to the guy, or the guy can barely talk to the girl. Why? Because this is normal! Over the weekend, many prominent news outlets have reported on Enchanting Gromfright how Luz and Amity are the first prominent lead LGBT characters in a Disney animated series, and it led to some pretty weird takes about the Owl House's inclusion of LGBT relationships from Karens who don't even care to watch the show, just reacting to a headline. And of course, all of their points were weirdly sexual. How am I going to have that conversation about the birds and the bees? The fact they immediately read it as such isn't just uncomfortable, but it shows that their heart is far from the right place. These are the same people who then turn around and try to say asexuality isn't real. Those people are shallow, wrong, and frankly, suck. And if me focusing on this moment rubs you the wrong way, or irritates you because
you guys want it to be normalized, but how can it be normalized if everyone makes a big deal out of it?
then maybe you need to reevaluate yourself and figure if you fall under the umbrella of those sucky people as well. These beautiful minds in animation weren't fighting to poison the youth and make them deviants. They were fighting for moments like this.
Luz, you're here. I mean, obviously you're here. This is school. And you go here now with me. I've been talking for too long.
How Amity handles herself in this scene is exactly how so many of my friends on the LGBT spectrum react to their own crushes. It's a natural, human moment. Anyways, after Luz challenges Boscha to a Grudgby match, Ida's going through her old photo book to relive her Grudgby days, even donning her awesome varsity jacket to boot. Beyond the movie tickets nodding to various properties like cats, God, I do not need to see the live-action rats. We also get a look at young Lilith, whom, like Ida, also had red hair in her time. I'm starting to believe that hair color in the L House, or more so dyeing it to particular colors, as evident with Lilith and Amity, ties into societal hierarchy. Every dyed hair color means something. But one movie ticket is covering up the face of a mysterious feminine-looking character with glasses. Evidently in the bar track, standing next to Ida, the two linking arms. We can spot just a peek of this character's hair next to the ear, and if my eyes don't deceive me, I'm almost certain that this is a Blight. Not just any Blight, but the one who's actually been credited for her voice role, so we know she's important, Mrs. Blight, Amity's mother, who, together with Amity's father, I believe to be the true antagonist of the Owl House. We'll save that for another video. Lilith arrives to arrest Ida, and as she goes out of her way to oddly specify, once Ida is arrested, she can join the Emperor's Coven because Bellows has big plans that he wants Ida to be a part of. That's very sketchy. And yet another nugget of information that most definitely serves to set up the final 2 episodes of Season 1. What does Bellows want Ida for? Lilith makes it sound like if Ida doesn't put up a fight, she'll be able to live safe as a part of the Coven. But is it really that simple? Or is Lilith being deceived into believing her sister will be a lot safer than she actually will be? Also, Lilith is now confirmed to be the older sister and captain of Grudgby. I thought Ida was the older sibling, but hey, this makes just as much sense if not more. Especially as to why Lilith is still trying to help Ida steer onto the right track. It's that leadership instinct of an older sibling kicking into high gear. Something else interesting, when Luz and Amity have their heart-to-heart, Amity reveals her past as a Grudgby captain and how it came to an end. Amity's Thorn Vault that's evidently inspired by Good Witch Azora. It's come up a few times now, but I really want to draw attention and ask, how in the hell does this series overlap with Earth and the Demon Realm? I think Good Witch Azora actually has greater significance than we initially believed. Maybe season finale material, I'm just saying. Lilith loses a Grudgby match and remarks she'll be back, and that next time, she won't be alone. Which makes sense, as the Warden from the first episode is slated to make a return as he was spotted in the Season 1B trailer. Luz is now going full Avatar with glyphs of light, ice, plant, and now fire magic. And from the trailer, we know a lightning glyph is in the cards too. The plot happens, and despite securing the win, Boscha still gets knocked down a peg, as Willow is met with good camaraderie, her teammates still treating Willow with respect and ultimately enjoying the game, inviting Willow to join the Grudgby team, although Willow declines. For now. Overall, this was a great calm before the storm episode. Plenty of setup, but more importantly, plenty of great character moments. These characters truly have never felt this alive, and we're still in Season 1. They're a lot more well-rounded, a lot more realized, and I feel like I could just watch their hijinks for hours and hours, which is probably the point. This is a television show. Also, I know I haven't really covered the hidden codes in the Owl House all too extensively. Just like Gravity Falls, there are hidden codes in each episode. and they've been spelling out a poem of sorts. But honestly, I know we drop our breakdowns, our analysis a bit later than other channels who do cover them, so if you're interested in learning more about them, please check out either Nerdiwire's video on this episode or Rebecca Rose's. Doing double duty with Amphibia isn't that easy either. But as always, these are just my thoughts, and I want to hear yours. What do you think? What were your thoughts on this episode? What moments stood out to you? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, or tweet your thoughts at Roundtable Vids, and for more of my own thoughts, you can find me at Vox. We're also on Instagram. If you enjoyed this video, please throw it a like, and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. Vox, signing out.